Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 2. Can I get the number of that bus? Ow. Feeling my body, it was pain. What happened? Punks on a bridge, net cafe, weird old man with no distinguishable traits, passed out. Okay, time to wake up. Move arm? Check. Move leg? Weird, but check. Now open eyes. I said open eyes. Come on, work. Oh, hey, you're waking up. About time. I was getting tired of waiting. Hey, wait, I know that voice. I feel like I just got hit by a car. Really want my eyes open now. No, you didn't get hit by a car. You're just an idiot who passed out in the Badlands. Where have I heard that voice before? Finally, got him to work. When I do eventually my eyes, I find an eagle looking at me. A big eagle. Holy crap! I jump and fell out of bed. Smooth move, moron. Taking a closer look, I saw that it wasn't an eagle. It was a griffin. Now I know where that voice was from. Of all people, or ponies, or whatever that I could run into, it had to be freaking Gilda. I cracked my neck. Yeah, I have a bad habit, so sue me. Then my back. Then my knuckles. Looking at myself, I didn't have hands. I had claws. Still satisfying to crack them, though. Gilda shuddered. Apparently, I found her pet peeve. Mine is nails on chalkboard. Wait a minute. Loading. 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 Done. Claws! Why the hell do I have claws? I kind of expected to have hooves at the same time. I didn't expect this to be happening at all. I put my claw on my head, then slowly turned myself over and got up. I turned and looked at myself. I had wings, feathers. I also had fur, and my feet were now paws. And I had a lion's tail. So I guess I'm a griffin too. Oh, at least I'm not a donkey. This isn't all bad. Digging the claws. Wings are also awesome in my book. I felt stiff, so I stretched. Since I wasn't used to having wings, it took me a while to figure out how to use them. I tried moving my shoulders, arms, legs, and tensing the various muscles until I found some that I wasn't used to. Bingo! I flapped them experimentally, flared them out, then tucked them safely to my side, neatly, enjoying the warm, fluffy, fuzzy feeling the feathers gave my skin. I'm fluffy! I'll have to thank that guy if I ever see him again. I was taking being thrown into a new world rather well. If I'm really here, awesome. If I'm dreaming, don't wake me. And if I'm crazy, I don't want to be sane. Then I noticed Gilda was looking at me strangely. Right. I'm checking myself out. Not strange behavior at all. Sarcasm. You feeling okay? She asked. Huh. So Gilda does care about others. Better not let in that I know anything. I don't want to go breaking the fourth wall. Let's go with amnesia. Where am I? I asked. You serious? She asked back. If I knew where I was, I wouldn't be asking you, whoever you are. Time for the duel of sass and sarcastic remarks. I'm Gilda, and you better remember it. You're in the Tailfeather Mountain Range, in a little mud-hole village on the edge of the Dominion Equestria border, she replied. Dominion? Equestria? I know what Equestria is, but I haven't got a clue about the Dominion, and I was playing ignorant. Come on, really? Are you that dumb? Who are you anyway? She asked, getting slightly annoyed. Griffin? Yeah, I know you're a griffin. I asked who, not what. She was starting to get mad. Griffin. Your name, dummy! She was almost yelling. All I can remember is my name is Griffin. I guess my parents were unimaginative or something. I had just realized the irony of a situation. I'm a griffin named Griffin. I had to make a quick excuse. All you can remember? Amnesia, huh? And yeah, your parents would probably be pretty stupid if that's all they could come up with. I didn't mind her mocking my parents. Personally, I think they're dumb too. Do you have a, I stumbled trying to find the right words on purpose to sell the story. I may never be accused of not being a clever bastard. A map! Yeah, that's it! Yeah, what's it to ya? Gilda said in her normal bitchy tone. Because I want to find out where the hell I am. Good enough. She pulled out a scroll. I had already gotten used to walking on 4 legs. I've been beat up enough to be forced to crawl, and this was actually easier since I wasn't in severe pain and my legs bent the right way for it. I walked over and took a look. It was a world map. On the northeast, there was a range of the mountains labeled Dominion, surrounded by valleys. In the middle, there was the largest area, labeled Equestria. North center was labeled Gem Fido, which I guess was Diamond Dog area. To the northwest was simply called Dragon Badlands. Center east was an ocean. Center west was the same ocean. I guess it stretched all the way around the planet. Southwest was labeled Volcanic Waste. Didn't sound too hospitable. Center south was the feline jungle. I assumed some sort of cats lived there, well away from the dogs. Southeast was Black Marsh. Like in the Elder Scrolls? No, I was just being stupid. I looked for the Tailfeather mountain range. It was on the southern border of the Dominion, fairly near the eastern edge of the map. If she found me in the Badlands, that meant that this was a complete world map, and it wrapped around. Sure, the mountains were near the border, but not that close. How did I get here? It was an important question. Like I said, you passed out in the Badlands here. She pointed to the spot on the map. I found you unconscious, so I brought you around here. She pointed to the northernmost mountain on the peak. Seriously, what were you doing there? Being in those Badlands is dangerous. You would make a quick snack for a hungry dragon. Gilda was all heart. I was about to say I thought dragons only ate gems, but then I remembered that Spike had hay fries once. Good thing too, because that would have blown my story. So you carried me all the way here? Gilda started blushing. Yeah, big deal. And before you ask, I was there because I can handle myself, and I wanted to be alone. As for why, none of your business. Rainbow Dash. She's probably sore about the whole incident and is beating herself up over it. Better let it go. Don't want to open any wounds. I looked at the map again and found Ponyville. I figured I'd want to go there eventually, but as for right now, there was no hurry. I'd get there soon enough. Besides, it was on the southern half of Equestria. I'd have to cross half the continent to get there. Wow, stomach. Nice timing. I laughed weakly at Gilda. So, what's for eats? I asked. That depends. Do you remember how to fly? She had a habit of answering questions with more questions. Now that I think about it, our personalities are pretty similar. Nope, but I'll figure it out on the way. I may be an idiot, but I'm not stupid. Let her chew on that one for a while. She just laughed. Well, let's get going then. Looking around, I saw that I was actually in a cave. Either griffins built their nests in caves, which is entirely possible, or the village was actually below us. Well, since this is pretty much a cliff, time to see if I can fly! I jumped out of the cave and figured my griffin brain would take over and let me fly. It didn't. You dummy! Gilda screeched as she dove after me, intent on catching me before I killed myself. I tumbled down the cliff a bit, keeping my limbs tucked in to avoid breaking them, before I landed on a dead tree, breaking it. It started moving down the mountain. The steep slope was not all rocky and full of pits and boulders, but rather like smooth stone, almost like pavement. How that was possible? Well, this is a cartoon. I guess they never animated the mountain details except in Dragonshy. Or is it? Maybe it's a real world that we just peek into on occasion. No, I'm not gonna go into that. I don't want to crush the broken remains of the fourth wall. Anyway, I was still on top of the log, wrapping my arms around it desperately, now careening down the mountain. I just so happened to be an amateur skateboarder. I'm good enough to go down a steep hill without falling off, and the log was much sturdier than a skateboard, albeit a little bit more bumpy. I stood on it sideways, bipedal style, and ripped off some of the bark. I dug into the wood with my front claws for more stability. One in front and one behind. Now I could actually steer this death trap. Woo-hoo! I yelled, experimentally using my new wings for balance. That made it much easier in all aspects, and also slowed me down quite a bit as I flared them out. Gilda flew down beside me and looked at me like I was nuts. Well, that has got to be the dumbest way to go down a mountain, she told me once we reached the bottom. After being thrown off, I slammed my face into the dirt and was still picking myself up when she landed. Legs, check. Arms, check. Wings, check. Face, ouch. Nothing broken, though. I guess I really do have a hard head. Yeah, but if you can't fly, it beats getting pummeled by rocks, I said, lifting the log I rode as I coughed up some dirt I had swallowed, showing its underside. It had been worn over halfway through by grinding on the mountain's face. Fair enough, she smiled. We climbed down the rest of the mountain and found ourselves in a forested area. Gilda kept looking at me and smiling, or what I thought was a smile. Hard to tell with just a beak. No way, is she falling for me? I wonder, is Gilda just mean, or are all Griffins? If that's the case, I'll both fit in perfectly, and am probably the nicest Griffin she's ever met. Hey, dummy, get over here! She interrupted my thoughts. I didn't care that she was calling me dummy instead of Griffin. Honestly, it's not the worst thing I've been called. See that deer? She was whispering. Let's catch it. Let me guess. You're gonna fly overhead, and I'm gonna chase it on foot, driving out in the open. I was whispering as well. You catch on quick for a moron, she teased. As I said, I may be an idiot, but I am by no means stupid. Just look at how I went down that mountain like a pro after Plan A failed. She laughed again, then backed away before flying up, as not to scare the grazing deer. I looked up, and she signaled that there was an open field about 200 meters to the east. Since I was facing north, I had to circle around stealthily to the west. I pulled it off. Another thing you learn when everybody hates you is how not to be seen. Avoiding bullies, running from bullies, fighting bullies. Yeah, that was my life. So, not only was I good at hiding, I was fast, a quick thinker, and I knew all the weak spots. Not a bad skill set when you're trying to survive. I signaled to get ready, and she started circling like the bird of prey she was. I crouched down like a cat about to pounce and moved in closer to the deer till I was directly behind it. I got closer still, and still didn't see me. I got even closer. Still didn't see me. I took one more step, and stepped on a branch. Fudge. The deer looked up, and I stayed perfectly still. It didn't see me, but I knew it wasn't alone. It was looking around and slowly started to move. I pounced. The chase was on. I headed east just as planned. Gilda was flying overhead. She was fairly fast, and I had no trouble keeping up. I was running about as fast as the deer. At first it began to pull away as I hadn't yet figured out how to gallop, although it came pretty quickly as my instincts kicked in. Oh sure, now my Griffin brain decides to work. Where were you when I jumped off the cliff? The deer would quickly dart around pieces in bush and undergrowth, while I would just bash right through them, not bothering with trying to go around. I watched how it moved and used that to plan my course around the trees and other more solid objects. I was keeping up with it quite well. Suddenly, something changed. Everything seemed to slow down. I felt strong. I didn't even feel the pain from the branches hitting me. It was a feeling I knew all too well. A feeling that I had felt often since I was dealing with those worthless punks at school. A feeling I loved. Adrenaline. We approached the clearing, but sensing the trap, the deer suddenly darted off to the left, and I followed it in pursuit. It changing direction meant that I was headed directly for it, but it was not headed directly from me. I closed in on it and jumped, knocking it over and pinning it to the ground. I held its head down with my left claw and its body with my right. It was trapped, completely overpowered. It looked at me with its eyes, begging me not to kill it. I drove my beak into its neck at the base of its skull, just behind the ear, killing it instantly. I had never killed an animal before. Closest I had ever come was shooting a bow at a foam deer target. Although my eyes were bad and I needed glasses, I was an excellent shot. Even better than my former friend who I had been doing it with for years, but stopped doing it after said friend abandoned me, just like everyone else. Still, I was a natural. As a griffin, I didn't have my poor human eyesight. In fact, since I was at least part bird of prey, I could see far better than any human could. I could instantly focus on anything, no matter how small, between on the end of my beak to over a mile away. It was freaking awesome not to have to strain my eyes. Gilda flew down and was looking rather impressed. Hey, nice catch. You killed it already? Seems like you at least remember that. Doesn't look like you carved the pelt up any. She was rather happy that I had killed it, but at the same time seemed a little annoyed that she didn't get to. I felt really good with the whole hunter instinct thing. Odds are, she did too. Yeah, weakest point on a non-armored body for a lethal strike is behind the ear, base of the skull. It's designed for movement, not protection, so the skin is soft, and there's very little padding. Severing the jugular or carotid artery is messy. The bone protecting the spinal cord has a gap, meaning the brain stem is unprotected. A single puncture will instantly kill, and sufficient blunt trauma will paralyze, possibly permanently. She seemed impressed by my knowledge. How do you know that? You almost sound like a doctor. Crap, she got me think fast. I don't know how I know. I just know. Makes sense to me. Maybe I was a doctor or something before I lost my memory. Truth was, I was studying anatomy in school, hoping to get a job in the medical field. They didn't teach that, though. I figured that out all on my own. So, technically it wasn't a lie. I don't really like lying, but at the same time, I'm not just gonna tell her I'm from another dimension. I'll have to stick with my story. You have to be the strangest thing I've ever seen. Griffin, pony, or other. She was getting genuinely interested in me, and she was losing her sarcasm. She still wasn't calling me by my name. I guess it's awkward. It would be like me going up to a guy and saying, "Hi, human." If a guy's name was Hubert Mann, that would be really weird. Yep, I'm not your ordinary rebel. I'm grade A freak. We both laughed at that. Alright, let's cook this sucker. I'm starved.